The collective had gathered its finest, 700 warships arranged in perfect geometric formation above the orbital station of Kepler 442b. Their hulls gleamed with ceremonial polish, weapons systems powered down in a show of diplomatic restraint. Admiral Vexlar stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Resolve, her four eyes scanning the tactical display with practiced precision. "Any sign of the human fleet?" she asked, her voice carrying the harmonic undertones of her species. "Negative, Admiral," her tactical officer responded, mandibles clicking nervously. "The rendezvous time has passed. Perhaps they've reconsidered the alliance." Vexlar's scales rippled with doubt. The humans had been adamant about this meeting. After decades of long-range communication, after humanity had finally proven itself worthy of joining the Galactic Collective through a series of impossible technological demonstrations, they had requested this formal gathering. The collective had assembled representatives from 43 member species, each bringing their most impressive vessels as tradition demanded. It was meant to be a show of unity, a display of the combined might that humanity would soon join. "Wait," the sensor operator announced, her crystalline form pulsing with agitation. "Single contact emerging from hyperspace. Sector 7-3 Alpha. One ship?" Vexlar's thermal pits flared with confusion. "A scout vessel?" The tactical display updated. The newcomer was small by military standards, barely 300 meters in length. Its design was unlike anything in the collective's extensive databases. Smooth, almost organic curves gave way to angular protrusions that seemed to serve no obvious purpose. No visible weapons ports. No shield emitters that matched known configurations. "Hail them," Vexlar commanded. The viewscreen shifted to show a single human seated in what appeared to be a remarkably sparse bridge. Captain Sarah Chen, according to the transmitted credentials. She was young by human standards, her dark hair pulled back in a practical style, her expression calm to the point of being unreadable. "Captain Chen," Vexlar began, struggling to keep the disappointment from her harmonics. "We were expecting more." A slight smile touched Chen's lips. "I'm aware, Admiral. I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. We're not here to show you our fleet." Confusion rippled through the collective's command structure. Ambassador Thelchris, representing the diplomatic contingent, activated his own channel. His gaseous form swirled with agitated patterns. "Captain, the protocols clearly state that applicant species must demonstrate their military capability. The galaxy is not a safe place. We must know that our allies can stand beside us." "Oh, we can stand beside you," Chen replied. "We just do things a bit differently." Before anyone could respond, the Wanderer, as Chen's ship was apparently named, began to move. It didn't accelerate in any conventional sense. One moment it hung motionless in space, the next it was positioned directly between the collective fleet and the nearby star. The transition was instantaneous, violating several fundamental laws of physics that the collective had spent millennia studying. Alarms blared across the flagship. "Admiral," the tactical officer shouted. "Energy signatures off the scale. The human ship is." The Wanderer pulsed once, a wave of translucent energy expanding from its hull. As it passed through the collective fleet, every ship's systems went dark. 700 vessels, representing the pinnacle of galactic military technology, rendered completely inert in a fraction of a second. Emergency lighting flickered on across the flagship's bridge. Vexlar's thermal pits went cold with something she hadn't felt in decades: genuine fear. Chen's face remained on the viewscreen, powered by some independent system. "Don't worry, Admiral. Your life support is functioning normally, and I'll restore everything else momentarily. I just needed to make a point." What have you done?" Vexlar whispered. "Demonstrated why we don't need a fleet," Chen explained patiently. "See, humanity took a different path. While you were building bigger weapons, we were asking different questions. What if conflict could be resolved without destruction? What if superiority wasn't about firepower, but about understanding the fundamental forces that make weapons work in the first place?" The Wanderer moved again, this time appearing beside the star itself. The viewscreen split to show both Chen and an external view of her ship. Something extended from the vessel's hull, those angular protrusions that had seemed so purposeless. They touched the star's corona. 500 years ago, Chen continued, we nearly destroyed ourselves. Nuclear weapons, biological warfare, environmental collapse, we stood at the brink. Some of us looked at the galaxy and saw the same patterns repeating. Empires rising and falling. Species developing interstellar travel only to turn their weapons on each other. We decided there had to be another way. The star flickered. Not dimmed, flickered, as if someone had toggled a switch on the universe's most fundamental force. For a microsecond, the fusion reactions that had burned for billions of years simply stopped. Every being on every ship in the fleet understood the implication instantly. If the Wanderer could stop a star, even for a microsecond, it could stop it permanently. One ship. One human. Capable of extinguishing the very light that gave life to entire systems. We call it fundamental access technology, Chen said. We can interact with the base code of reality itself. We can stop fusion reactions. We can manipulate gravitational constants, we can rewrite the rules, at least locally and temporarily. It took us 400 years to develop, another 50 to perfect, and countless debates about whether we should ever reveal it to anyone. Power began returning to the collective ships, systems coming online in sequence as the Wanderer released whatever hold it had established. So no, Admiral, Chen concluded, her expression softening slightly. We didn't bring a fleet. We brought one ship, crewed by one person, to show you that humanity doesn't need an army. We need allies, friends, partners in exploring this magnificent universe. But if you're asking whether we can stand beside you, whether we can defend ourselves and our future allies if necessary. She paused. I think the answer is clear. Vexlar found her voice, though her scales still trembled. Why reveal this? You could have hidden such power. Because secrets breed fear, and fear breeds conflict, Chen replied. We're done with that cycle. We're showing you exactly what we're capable of because we want you to trust us, trust that we'll never use this power except in the most dire circumstances. We're not here to dominate. We're here to join, to learn, to share everything except the one technology that could turn any species into gods. Silence filled every bridge in the fleet. Then, slowly, Ambassador Thelchris began to laugh, a sound like wind chimes in a storm. 43 species, he said, spent millennia building the greatest military alliance in the galaxy. And humanity shows up with one ship and makes us all obsolete. This will be an interesting partnership. Chen smiled genuinely for the first time. Admiral Vexlar, with your permission, I'd like to begin formal negotiations. And perhaps you'd all like to join me for dinner? The Wanderer's compact, but I've got an excellent synthesizer and a database of cuisines from 400 worlds. I think we have a lot to discuss. As the collective fleet recovered its composure and began the diplomatic protocols, Vexlar couldn't help but feel that the galaxy had just shifted on its axis. Humanity had arrived, not with a bang, but with a quiet demonstration that redefined what power meant. And somehow, that made them the most dangerous and most valuable ally the collective could have hoped for.